Welcome back to the Chicago Tomahawk. I'm Mike. I got my line mate Matt with me. And today we're going to go over the Blackhawks game versus Dallas, their game versus Florida. And we got a little news for you. There really isn't really too much that it's gone on. Has there been, Matt?
No, not really in the NHL. Just some minor trades were made today. I believe the Coyotes traded Dzingel and to Toronto for I think his name is David Ricci.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a minor swap. Maybe some cap space cleared for the Maple Leafs.
So the Hawks versus Dallas, the 0-1 loss, which is kind of crazy because it was 0-0 through all three periods and the overtime period. Both goalies got a shutout, but Fleury took the loss, and it was a shootout loss. Our defense has been playing, I would say, pretty well over the past, I would say maybe like 10 games or so. I would say the defense has been playing better comparative to the beginning of the season, but they just haven't been scoring very much. Mackenzie Entwistle had a really good, I thought he had a really good game last game, and he had a really good game this game. He's been very noticeable. I think it's been pretty noticeable night in and night out, but the past two games, it just seems like he's been everywhere trying to score offensively. He's been putting out some pretty big hits, and I thought he's been great. What did you think of him in the Dallas game, Matt?
Yeah, unfortunately, the only press he's getting now is getting shot in the face with a water bottle from Jamie Benn. And
I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah, you know what, man, that happens all the time. I mean, it's kind of Bush after a guy gets hit. You know how he did. He got kind of an awkward place at the end of the bench where the high glass starts and stuff. He was just kind of skating by. He gave him a little spray of water. To fine a guy like $2,000 for that, and then it's like the same fine that Tom Wilson got on Panarin last year. Remember that beating? And it's like, really? Like it's ridiculous. But yes, Entwistle has, like you said, he's been good the last two games. He's been very noticeable, making good plays. Unfortunately, they couldn't get anything going in the Dallas game. But hey, Ottinger is. I said this at the beginning of the season. I was so surprised he was sent down because I thought he was better of all the four goalies that they had. Yeah. But their future looks good with him in net.
Matt, between like say Entwistle and Lafferty, do you think that these two guys like solidly have a place on this team?
Yep. Third, fourth line guys, role guys, penalty killers. I think they're the perfect type of player for that. And even Regula, I think, if I'm not saying his name, the defenseman they called up from Rockford, I like his game too. And I just like the way he plays. He's just real composed and doesn't really make any mistakes. He makes the easy, smart plays. No risk-taking type of play like Seth Jones would probably take. He's just like steady Eddie, I guess you could say. But I like all three of these guys on the team next year for sure.
Yeah, I like Regula's. I think it's Alec Regula, right? I think that's how they say it. I'm not sure. But I like him as well. I thought that he was noticeable. I would probably say the past two games. Obviously he was called up, but I think that he's good. I really didn't notice Reichel that much today.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean, I think that he needs some time to get settled in. He's not going to come in and start scoring goals and start making a huge difference. But I didn't really notice him very much today. And in the Dallas game, he made a couple plays, but nothing spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, no one made any plays with Dallas. It was just an all goaltending show.
Yeah.
But with Reichel, I hope this doesn't hurt his confidence. Getting called up and score or pointless, and I mean the experience is good for him. But I think I would. If he doesn't get any more points, I wouldn't be surprised if they send him back down. After today's game or Monday news. But I'd like to just see him finish the year out in Rockford and let him get his confidence up. And I think Rockford's in a playoff spot, so that'll get him ready for a different type of paced game too as well.
Yeah, I think so some NHL time is good for him because maybe it could kind of bring him back down to earth a little bit and say, hey man, you're doing great in the AHL, but it's the big show's very different. And I think that he needs to see that, you know, when he's playing in the AHL, like, hey, look, you know, I have a lot more work to do. I'm going to have a summer full of training, and I'm going to try and make the team next year. I think that he looks good. He skates well. He doesn't seem to make really a lot of bad decisions, but I just think he definitely needs more seasoning.
Well, yeah, he's playing against two really, really good teams too.
Oh yeah,
playoff teams, and this is the whole point of it. This is what you want to see him play against. This is so you know, like, okay, he played against the Panthers today, a Stanley Cup contending team. And he was, I'm not being mean, but he was pretty much a non-factor ghost today. And that's good for scouts to see, and the coaching staff, and, you know, possibly our future GMs up there looking today. Like, yeah, you know what? He's good. But against a good team, he was a non-factor, so he still needs time.
Just show him what he needs to work on, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the Panthers are good, man. They look bad the first period. Then the next.
Well, we're going to get into that now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go on ahead.
Well, I wanted to say that the second period, I think the Panthers started to look like the scary Panthers, and then the third period, there was a lot of pressure on the Hawks. The Hawks did fight back. I give them credit. It was a game all the way to the end. I thought King pulled Fleury a little too early. I would have liked to see the puck getting deep. Maybe try to get a shot and get a face-off, and then, you know, you could set up, put your best face-off guy in. I know we don't really have one right now, but it's just better than dumping it in, giving it to the defense, and hitting Barkov, hitting an easy open net. It's just, I mean, they're a good team, so I would have done it different.
Hawks lost to Florida, if you haven't gotten it, 5-2. Two of them were empty net goals. So it was really a 3-2 game. Hawks kept it close. I'll be honest with you. I don't think Florida played very well tonight. If this is the Florida team, you know, that's going on, you know, 10 game runs. I mean, look, the Blackhawks are not the best team in the league. All right. But they lost. I mean, they beat the Blackhawks by 1 goal. And if you're the best team in the league, you're not going to be beating, you know, either the lowly Blackhawks by 1 goal, or maybe the Blackhawks are just unlucky and just can't cross that threshold to be a winning team and get some wins in. Do you know what I mean, Matt? It's like, they hang in there with Colorado. They hang in there with Florida. You know, they can hang in there with these tough teams. They just can't get that one goal to get them over, you know?
Well, I give the Hawks credit today. I thought they played really well against this team. They showed up. The puck just wasn't going in. You know, I think Caleb Jones's goal was kind of a fluke, but it still crossed. It's a goal. Kane was that was a great snipe. Kind of like a Wayne Gretzky type of goal back in the day. Like if he caught a goalie cheating, he'd find that opening hole, and Kaner's got that talent too as well. But I thought the Hawks played well with him. I mean, Kirby Dach kind of had a bad luck play, and Fleury was kind of caught. You know, he was reacting to the initial shot, and Dach kind of tipped it. It's kind of like a knuckleball, and he couldn't save it. But like I thought, Florida, they're good. They had 2 really good periods. I thought the Hawks played them well. It's just I thought the refs missed a call at the end as well with. I think Connor Murphy was cross-checked to the head by the same player that was whining about the DeHaan hit, about he was getting hit in the head.
Marchment.
Yeah, he was whining all about it, throwing a fit, and then he puts his hands up in a cross-check. That could have easily been, if there was blood, it could have been a high sticking penalty even. Right. But it was definitely a cross-check. They missed that call, and I think the Hawks were they were feeling it. They were pushing hard to tie this game. So you never know. You never know. They could have tied the game, but they didn't get that call, so it ended up hurting them.
Yeah, it was a very physical game. Both sides were throwing the body big time, and especially when you're playing against a team that's got Radko Gudas, you're gonna have to throw the body.
He's a bad dude, man.
Yeah, he is. Duclair had a goal called back because of offsides. He's got 3 goals in the last, I believe, 5 games, or it would be 2 goals in the last 5 games now. But
He's been good.
Yeah, he has. He's been
happy
good
for that
them.
guy.
I think that he's found a place where he can play. That they let him play his style, and he's fitting in very well there. Jake McCabe has been. I think he's finally settled into the Blackhawks for the past, I would say, probably 15 games. I think he's been pretty solid. Last 5, he's been, solid as a rock. He had a nice play where he kept the puck in that allowed Kane to score that goal in the first period. And I think that he's been really solid for the Blackhawks, not allowing offensive guys coming in, and he's been stripping pucks, hitting guys, playing smart. What do you think of McCabe, Matt?
Yeah, I've liked him since day one. It took him a while to get used to the new, his new team, new city. We've talked about this before. I'm not really sure I'm a big fan of the pairing of Murphy and him. I feel like they're kind of the same types of player. I would like to see Jake McCabe with, say, like a Seth Jones or maybe a Calvin DeHaan, or like, say, Ian Mitchell's called up. I think he would gel well with that type of player. But yeah, I like what he brings, man. I think he's an underrated leader too. I know a lot of guys listen to him. He's played in Buffalo for a couple seasons now. I think the locker room really likes him, and I really like him too. I like the physicality he brings. I kind of wish he was out on the ice when Gudas took that run at Jones, because I feel like the Hawks have no one that's intimidating except maybe a Jake McCabe.
Yeah, you know what? I think McCabe is obviously a better defenseman than Gudas, but I don't think he's really the guy that's going to go out there and just start, pummeling people. Do you know what I mean?
I would like to see him get that edge, though. I would like to see him get more of that craziness. The guy looks like if you pissed him off, he would just try to squeeze your neck until your head explodes. But that can hurt, though, in the playoffs. He can't play that way, because getting a penalty in the playoffs can turn the whole series around. One penalty. So I hope he disciplines himself, because he's going to be playing against some good teams in the first round. So
you're talking about Gudas, right?
Yes, I'm talking about Gudas. He can really hurt the Panthers if he plays that. If he goes too far. Right. I like the edge, but don't play that far. I kind of I wish a couple of Hawks defensemen had that edge, that nastiness. They don't really have it, and it's important. I think if you got a guy that's you're skating down the boards and you see that giant beard, it's like, oh, that's Gudas, dude. He's going to put me through the glass. I better just dump it in. Like, we don't have anyone that strikes fear into the players, Right.
Yeah. I was always I played in a fantasy hockey league where hits were big.
Stat.
Yeah. And it was early in his career. Nobody had really heard of him. And I picked him up, and the guys are messaging me after 4 weeks. They're like, who the hell is Radko Gudas?
Was he with Philly, right? Didn't he start with Philly? Or
I want to say it was the Islanders.
Okay.
I'd have to double check, but I picked him up. He was a no-name at the time, but he was just hitting everything that moved. And he's still playing.
It's an underrated thing, man. If you have a guy like that, look at Florida's success. They have, they got an Aaron Ekblad type of defenseman. They got that Brandon Montour they got from Buffalo. He had a nice goal today. They're just a good, complete team. They, like I said, they remind me of the 2010 Hawks. They're good up front. Got two really good goalies they could start. Spencer Knight feel like the poor guy's rotting away over there because Bobrovsky's he's locked up for the next couple seasons. But he might be dealt. I think Spencer
you think so?
Knight. And if I'm the new GM, that's the guy I'd want on my team, because I saw his World Junior that World Junior game. I think it was last December, maybe a little bit before, but he was awesome, dude. And he was good in the playoffs for the Panthers when they were, I think they were down 3-1. I want to say he got a win for the Panthers against the Lightning, and he kind of gave him some hope. I think that kid's going to be a great goalie.
So Gudas played for Tampa Bay when I picked him up. He had 152 penalty minutes in the 2013-2014 season.
Can you imagine him on that team now? How even better they'd be? That's crazy.
You think so? Do you think that they would be better?
Ryan McDonough, Victor Hedman, Radko Gudas, Sergachev. That top four right there is scary.
I love Ryan McDonough, man.
Yeah. I know the Rangers fans are upset about that because
They should be.
His cap hit is nothing.
Nothing for what he brings.
7 million. Yeah, he was the best player in the playoffs for them.
Yeah, he was. Quietly, but 100% he was.
I'm a big fan of him. Big fan.
I can't believe that they traded him. And to be honest with you, the Tampa Bay wouldn't have been able to win without him.
Nope, not last year. And you know who else they got in that trade? And they got JT Miller, who was another really good player. He's really good now with Vancouver, and his name has been in the trade buzz. I think I'm hearing the Rangers actually want him back, but I don't know. A lot of teams are gonna be going for this guy because he's a top 3, probably a top winger on the team. He's gonna go right on the first line, whatever team goes for him. He's just that good.
Do you think Tampa has any moves to make before the playoffs? Do you think that they need to add something to their team?
Tampa, I think Tampa's fine. I think Victor Hedman is starting to finally take over. He moved up in the race, the lead of the defensive points. He's the best defenseman in the game. People argue with me all the time. It's Adam Fox or Cale Makar. No
argument.
Victor Hedman is a better two-way player. Yes, Cale Makar has some really good offensive skills. We've seen him a lot in the Central Division. He's really good at dangling, and his skating's amazing, but his defensive game is not anywhere close as Victor Hedman's is. And Adam Fox, yes, I know the Rangers fans think they're the center of the freaking hockey universe, and Adam Fox is amazing. Yes, he's good.
Yeah,
he should not have won the Norris last year. Victor Hedman was still better than him.
Yeah, he was.
So, and I hope Victor Hedman can steal Norris Trophy this season because he deserved it last year and he could easily win it again.
It's kind of funny. I think that Adam Fox won it because Adam Fox came out of freaking nowhere, man. He came out of absolutely nowhere and then just took over. And don't get me wrong, he played very well, but I think because he was a relative no-name to being a star, a superstar in the NHL now.
He's absolutely a great defenseman. He's a top 5 defenseman for sure, but I don't get why people argue like Victor Hedman. Like, did you guys forget about this guy? Like, he's been in the Stanley Cup final 3 times.
Yeah, and
he's been awesome since they lost to the Hawks. And I noticed it too. I remember me and you talking probably to 2015.
Yeah.
Wow, the Hawks won, but this Victor Hedman dude, he's gonna be a stud. And since then he's been amazing.
I actually saw him. I saw the Hawks play him. I think it might have been the season before, and when they played Tampa, and I couldn't believe like his skating ability. It was just so good
for a big guy.
For how big he is, he skated like a guy who was. Like a guy who was like 5'10", and he's like 6'6". Like his skating ability is incredible.
He's a very smart player. He's good offensively. He's good in his own end.
He hits. He shoots.
Special teams. Yeah, he'll fight you.
He does everything.
If I'm building a team and I got to pick from those 3, right now I'm still picking Victor Hedman.
Well, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think Cale Makar's. I think he has time in that to get himself. To establish himself as a force on the blue line, but I think that he needs to play more of the defensive side of the game for me to give that to him. Hedman is incredibly proficient at both ends of the ice. Cale Makar is an offensive dynamo, an offensive threat. I don't see him as someone that I'm up 3-2. There's 35 seconds left in the game, and I need to kill this. In that situation, I wouldn't put Adam Fox or Cale Makar in. I'd put Hedman in 100% of the time.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would definitely, Cale Makar is going to be good, but until Cale Makar does something in the playoffs like Victor Hedman's done, same with Adam Fox, it's just a bunch of garbage talk for me because these guys, even I hate to, I'm going to go to the offensive side with Nathan MacKinnon. Yes, we all have to hear how great of a player he is, and he's going to be like Sidney Crosby. He hasn't done anything when the games mattered.
Yeah.
So these guys have to, like, if they want to be in this talk of the best guy on the planet, they need to do something in the postseason.
I'll be honest with you. He's like, 7-8 years into the league, and I wouldn't consider him the next Sidney Crosby at all. I think that he's a good player, but Crosby will score no matter what game it is, no matter what time it is. He's been incredibly consistent.
He's amazing. Yeah, Sid is he lived up to the hype, man. Sid the Kid. 3 cups, couple MVPs, 500 goals, 1,000 points. The day he retires, his sweater will be retired up into the rafters, and he will be a Hall of Famer for sure.
He'll probably get his jersey hung up on the 87th game after he retires or something like that.
Yeah, just like his contract.
Yeah. So the Islanders, they lost to the Canadiens the other day, and it's the Islanders.
Oh yeah, ouch.
Yeah. It was a shootout. They're 18-20, man. And I tell you what, I did not see this coming. I would have thought they'd be like well ahead right now, man.
Rewind the tapes. We both said, I thought they were going to win the cup. I thought they were winning the cup this year.
Yeah.
They were at least coming out of the East. They're not going to even make a wild card. So it's crazy. And if you lose to a goalie who hasn't started an NHL game in 4 years, that's pretty bad too. Andrew Hammond.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah,
good for St. Louis. He got his second win. And Marty St. Louis said he's not in this to be a substitute teacher. He wants the start. He wants the job next year. He wants to be the Canadiens head coach. So, and I guess Vinny LeCavalier was hired to be an advisor for the team too. So they're taking some Tampa Bay Lightning guys to try to turn this thing around. It's kind of cool.
From that, what was that? What year did they win the cup? 2002 or something like that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, 04. I think it was 04. Yeah.
Okay. So have you been following the Kraken at all?
No, I have not. I get texts from buddies of mine that like betting on hockey, and they're always asking, "Hey, who do you think's going to win against the Kraken?" I'm like, any team who's playing the Kraken, take that team. And I've been 3-0 since. So the only thing I was hearing about is Giordano, the captain of the Kraken, might go back to the Flames in a trade. Which I think that's what he would want. But after the Toffoli trade, I don't know if they're going to have the cap space or if it even makes sense. So who knows? We got a couple of weeks. We'll see.
Yeah, they played the Flames yesterday. They lost 2-1. Giordano was honored before the game, which is really cool. That's really cool, the organization to do that for him. And but Calgary just rolls on. They're 29-13 right now, man. And I did not see this team. I thought that they would be competitive this year, but I did not see them being a force like they are so far.
Calgary, Sutter, man, what a coaching. Whoever hired that Sutter, it's amazing because he totally turned everything around for these guys. Jacob Markstrom's been awesome in net, 9 shutouts, I believe. Johnny Gaudreau's putting up some good numbers. And hey, man, now they got a steady defensive core. And Zadorov is on he's on the third pairing, and I guess Daryl Sutter likes him. He's hitting, he's gonna get his hits.
He's gonna hit people. He's gonna get burned. He's gonna get he's gonna be out of position.
I don't know if he still has that man bun, but who knows? But hey, they're a team to be. You got to take them serious, and I think Tyler Toffoli was a good move because instantly he's making some noise, and maybe they'll add another piece like a Giordano just to get another top 4 defenseman in there to help out. So. They're going to be a scary team coming out of the Pacific, man. I think they can give Vegas some trouble because Vegas, Leonard is out for some time, and Mark Stone's going to be out for some time. Those are 2 key players.
It's huge.
And even Eichel put up his first point. I think he gave a nice pass to Max Pacioretty, buried one against, I forget who they were playing, but good to see him get on the board.
Yeah, I agree, and it's good to see him, back playing. Looks like the surgery hasn't slowed him down a bit, so he's back competing, and I've seen just a couple highlights of him, and he didn't look bad, man. He didn't look stiff. Do you know what I mean? When you have like a neck surgery, you're expecting a guy to have trouble turning his head, and he didn't look like he had have any trouble turning his head or being any kind of discomfort. So it's good to see that, this talent can be back out there and playing, because a guy with this talent, you want to see him on the ice, not on the injury report.
He's probably playing it a little safe. He's probably not going 100 miles an hour into the boards, so where he can, make some contact. He's probably still playing it a little safe, but I think over time he's going to get comfortable and, he'll take some more risks.
Well, cool, man. Do you got anything else?
Yeah, I got a little, maybe a little debate with you here. Do you think that Trevor Zegras will be Rookie of the Year, or do you think Mo Seider deserves it on Detroit? I'm on the side of the young defenseman from Detroit. I think this guy has just been making some great plays. I've been seeing some awesome hits. He's got really, really good puck possession, and he's number 3 in points. He's actually behind his teammate, Lukas Reichel. Yeah, he's doing good, but Trevor Zegras is an exciting, real flashy forward, but I think this guy deserves the Calder, Mo Seider.
I think that Zegras has been I've actually seen Seider play. I'm obviously just watching him on TV, and the guy is freaking solid, man.
Yeah.
I think he's quietly a great player. When you look at Zegras, it's like where's Trevor Zegras at? What's he doing? Where's he playing at? I think that his popularity might give him an edge in the voting, because he's so flashy. He's kind of already kind of put his little footprint on the league in a way. He's already starting to influence the league in a little bit. And Seider's been great, but I don't think that he's been the talk of a lot of people, like on ESPN. They're not showing a lot of highlights of him. Do you know what I mean?
Because he didn't do a lacrosse move. Yeah,
right.
I mean, this kid's got 30 assists, 35 points. I think the last defenseman to do that as a rookie was Nick Lindstrom. So he's on. He's got good company there, and he plays big minutes too. And I just like how he's so good with the puck. He can hit you while he has the puck. Like, he can fight you off. That was just a great pickup by Stevie Y, man. I mean, he finds diamonds. And
yeah, he does.
I recently sent out a tweet saying, dear new Hawks GM, please draft a kid like this. We need this. This will turn a franchise around. But I think he deserves it. I do like Trevor Zegras. He's got a great personality, very skilled, but I think the young defenseman deserves a longer look at the end of the season, because he's been damn good.
Yeah, I agree. Zegras has got 13 goals, 25 assists on the year. I mean, they're practically
close.
Pretty close in points, but Zegras is supposed to score points, and defensemen traditionally they're not supposed to be competing with offensive dynamos to
It kind of reminds me of a skinnier, younger Victor Hedman.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he's putting up points, he could kill you.
Like
you
Paul
skate into him,
Coffey.
he'll knock you down. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I like him. I wish he was on the Hawks, to be honest with you. I do. I like him. They're doing a great thing out there in Detroit. To be honest with you, if I had to pick a player, I think I might actually take Seider over Zegras.
Oh, like if you have to build your team around one of them.
If I had to draft one or the other, I would take Seider.
Yeah, knowing it's like halfway into their first season as a pro, right. I'm with you. I want to build a stronger blue line, and then you can definitely build around that. It's harder to find those types of guys. The Zegrases are easier to find in like a draft type of thing, but
because you're always going to find guys scoring goals.
Yeah, this kid came out of nowhere. I mean, they projected him to be like 20th, 22 or whatever in the draft, and Stevie Y took him, I want to say 12 or 14 or something. So,
wow.
He said we got to take him because he's not going to be around for us. So, it's a great pickup for Stevie Y. Another win for him.
Yeah, man. And a long list of them, too.
Yeah.
So that's all that we got for you guys tonight. Well, we really appreciate everybody listening. Be sure to do us a favor. Hit subscribe if you have not already. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Give us a follow on Twitter, and we'll get back to you whenever you send us a message. All right. This is the Tomahawk, and we're out of here.